segment here on the Yaffee program, News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN, doing my part to make radio great again. Appreciate y'all joining the show. It's that time of the show once again as well where we do the Yaffee program rewind. It's also that time of the show where I remind you, if you missed any of it live, well, the podcast will be up anywhere you get your podcasts. So go to WVNN.com. Pretty easy. You can download the WVNN app or subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. So at the beginning of the show today, we were talking about the latest in Iran. President Trump says that the memorandum of understanding is pretty much over. The ceasefire is pretty much over. Seems like a lot of people are in agreement that we're going to have to pry the Strait of Hormuz from their hands, maybe even take out the regime entirely. Now, I mentioned, because I see a lot of people make the joke that it's the memorandum of misunderstanding. And I get the joke and everything, but I do think we need to be honest and admit that Iran did not misunderstand. It was not a bad translation. They know what they're doing. They had no intention, never had any real intention of complying with the deal and maybe being partners with the U.S. or whatever. With this current regime in place, that was never going to happen, which means it's going to take, if we're going to keep doing, we either just leave, just get up and leave, forget it, and say no nukes and try it again, we'll just bomb you again, then leave again, or we really have to be serious and finish the job. Now, President Trump talked about this when he was at the NATO summit in Turkey. Go ahead and play Trump cut one for me.
To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. I'll speak to our negotiators. They want to negotiate. They're good people. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. But they have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars.
So, I mean, he's right about that. Now, later on, he talked about it a little bit more. Play a Trump cut two.
They're not doing a service to the people. And I think more than anything else is I got to know them. And I'm not sure I want to make a deal with them. We can play games, but I'm not sure I want to make a deal. Let's just finish the job. It's going to happen very fast. We have the Hormuz Strait. The boats have pulled out. I mean, there's a gusher of oil right now. We have a lot of oil. And no, anything that happens is going to happen very fast. The Iran war has been a tremendous military success. And, you know, I can only answer the question by saying they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. I was there for one reason, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I call it, we denuclearize Iran. And that's happened. They will never have a nuclear weapon. I mention it only because it's on the list. I mean, it came out. There was another list came out yesterday, and I'm number one on. I like being number one on TikTok better, but I'm number one on the list for killing.
All right, talking about their assassination hit list that Iran has. Yeah, we're going to have a memorandum of understanding with a country that does that. Probably not. So we talked about that earlier in the show. The podcast is up. We also had the Alabama bullet points today as usual. One of the stories I had there is that Congressman Barry Moore slammed the Smithsonian Institute, the museum, over a report exposing what they called the radical left propaganda and degeneracy that's at the museum. So I had the details of that in the bullet points. The podcast of that segment is up. We spoke with Cameron Smith. He's a columnist for AL.com. You can always read his stuff there. We talked about, well, he's not a soccer fan, but he thinks that the USA is going to be in the World Cup. We should be good. We need to get better. We also talked about the latest in Iran with him as well. He's kind of with me on that we probably are going to have to finish the job. Then we also talked about the fact that Graham Plattner has suspended his campaign. I also played this cut from Scott Jennings, who is the voice of reason of CNN, who made a good point on all of this. Play the Scott Jennings cut.
I got to tell you, I find this attitude, though, from the Democrats about picking the nominee and telling Graham Plattner what he has to do a little strange for the party of democracy. They seem to have forgotten that he won the Democratic Party primary. He got the most votes. And other than this latest allegation, all these other things that we know about Graham Plattner were known at the time. And nobody seemed to have a problem with it I don't actually.
They had problems with it. There was a lot of
what percentage of the vote did he
criticism.
get?
You said they had no problem with. I understand your point, but there was criticism about the tattoo, criticism about the texting. People in the party didn't even endorse
Bernie
them overall.
Sanders, Elizabeth
That's
Warren,
two senators.
Ro Khanna.
And they are representative of a faction of the Democratic
all
Party.
these people
Congresswoman
coming forward and defending every single thing until now, which leads me to believe they don't actually care about this rape victim. They just care that his poll numbers have fallen to the point where they don't believe he's viable any longer. He won a primary. He has chosen not to drop out yet. Maybe he will drop out. If he had any shame or decency, he wouldn't have run in the first place. But this is where we are, not because of anything Susan Collins has done or anything anybody else has done. This is what the Democrats did to themselves.
And it's actually a really good point. So we talked about that earlier in the show. The podcast is up. We had Christopher Reed on as well. You can check out his show 2 to 4 p.m. right here on WVNN. I talked about, kind of gave my perspective on Andrew Gillum, who almost became governor of Florida. He was arrested recently in Alabama over drugs, so dodged a bullet there. We had What's Trending as well. And you can always check out the podcast anywhere you get your podcast. I also want you to check out Jay's Appliance Outlet. You know, at Jay's Appliance Outlet, they believe buying appliances should be simple, affordable, and personal. Now, they serve Athens. Go over there off 72 in Athens. You can see the sign says up to 60% off because that's what they provide. You know, their story started years ago in the appliance repair business, but now they sell appliances as well. They want to give you those top appliances. They're not a big box store. When you walk through their doors, you're treated like family. So find out more. Dial pound 250, say the keywords Jay's Appliance Outlet, or go to the website right now, jaysapplianceoutlet.com. See the great deals they have at jaysapplianceoutlet.com. Let them know you heard about it from Yaffee.
The Yaffee Program.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada? Yes, please.
Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
The United States Soccer Federation presents the U.S. Soccer Podcast.
I'm your host, Megan Klingerberg. One thing I promised you is an all-access pass that you wouldn't get on any other show. And we found out that whoever comes on scores a goal. Burhope, Freeman, Trusty. U.S. Soccer Podcast magic is real, people. We still got plenty of coverage all throughout this World Cup. Okay, let's get into it.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast, presented by Henco. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Scrolling with Haley.
I am Haley Karania. I scroll with the homies here in the live chat because there's a lot to scroll through on X, on Instagram, on TikTok.
Cutting through the clutter, one hot take at a time.
Love seeing you all in the chat before the show. I try to jump in just a few minutes before to say hello. I love the chat interaction. Thank you for helping. But I do it to get all of the videos and all of the content that you won't find anywhere else.
Scrolling with Haley.
Just search that up and I will be there.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.